Do you believe in ghosts? Oh my God.
Ooh.
I don't.
I'm Adri Cortee and welcome back to my channel. The goal of my channel is to make academia accessible and entertaining for you. So if that sounds good, please make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit that little bell so you always get notifications every time that I post. So happy Halloween. Today,
happy Halloween.
I am so excited to be, I guess, playing a drinking game. So I was questioning, interviewing with my best friends from grad school. So here we have Gill Fitz. This is Bella Gaeta. I've never said her last name. I'm like my best friend.
Never said your last name before.
Ever. And Catie Shelton. Yeah. So you guys tell them what year you are. Tell them a little bit about yourselves.
Great. Hey, I'm Jill. Like Adri said, I'm a fourth year graduate student at Vanderbilt in the Cell and Developmental Biology department. And Bella and I are actually in the same lab, and we study the microvilli of your enterocytes.
Hi, I'm Bella. I am a 6th year graduate student.
I'm a 4th year grad student, and I'm in the Department of Pathology, Microbiology, and Immunology. And my research looks at the gut microbiota.
All right, so now we are going to get into the questions section. So basically I have all these questions in here. Some are more actions. The only action is drink, but then the others are questions, and some are spooky. So stay tuned for all of them.
Okay, Katie.
How do we get a spooky?
I know,
wonder
I'm
where
like
you're
the biggest scaredy cat. I'm like, don't be scary.
Please don't be scared.
Oh, okay. So mine is, what is the worst critique you ever got in grad school?
Whoa, that's a good one. Is that a spooky one?
I guess that is kind of scary.
Okay, the first one that comes to mind, which might not actually be my worst, but I submitted F31, which is like a NIH grant, and you get to see the reviews that they, how they talk about your proposal, and one of them was like, this was really poorly thought out research, was basically how I took the critique, which is like probably way too dramatic, but that was like, whoa, I'm here to be a scientist, and they just thought my thinking was like shit. Yeah. So
That's not a helpful critique though.
No. Yeah.
Like, how are you supposed to take that and be like, it needs to be like more pointed.
Yeah.
Like, this could be better thought, not like the whole thing is like,
yeah,
you know.
I don't know, it was very broad,
Yeah.
and that's what it was. Just they gave me other things that were helpful. It's just that one that was like
yeah. And that sticks in your mind.
exactly.
You know, Bella.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
Some of them are easy, I think.
Okay. Oh, what is the biggest risk you have taken in the lab? The first project I worked on was pretty risky. I did a proximity labeling screen, and we didn't know at all if it was going to work. It was a risky project. No one had ever implemented this technique in the lab before. It took me like 1.5 years, almost 2 years to get it to work, but it finally worked. So
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
but if you just stick with it,
It will work.
yeah.
Or it won't.
Well, that's why it's a risk. That's why it's a risk.
What scientist would make the best Halloween costume? I'm gonna say probably Albert Einstein.
The hair.
I think the radium girls could actually be pretty good. You could do like
Yeah,
green,
glowing.
yeah, like glow, and then like an
Yeah, so-
astronaut could be fun.
That could be fun. Yeah. Slutty astronaut. Slut astronaut.
Okay.
It's just the ball.
Sounds like a long one. Did your view of the scientific process change when you started doing your thesis research? Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely not this logical flow-by-flow step of questioning. A lot of it for me is just, oh, I'm curious about this thing. I was gonna see what happens if I do the experiment. We work in a lab that, I guess we're lucky enough that we can kind of just like follow our own curiosity. Like middle school and high school where you like learn the scientific process and it's very hypothesis driven. It's just not as organized, I would say, as it actually is in the field.
What is a challenge you've overcome in grad school?
We could all say one.
Yeah.
I think a constant challenge for me is just the failure. Like getting over that every day and still like coming back and being like, I'm gonna try again.
Yeah. I feel like I, before coming into grad school, was like really terrified to give a presentation. Like my voice would shake, and then that would make me embarrassed, and so it was like this whole loop. And I think just like being at Vanderbilt, honestly, and just doing it multiple times, I'm definitely not comfortable, but that like voice quivering, like petrified feeling, that I feel like I kind of left behind.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah.
For me, when something would happen in the lab that it wouldn't go the way that I wanted, and I would panic. Like if an experiment didn't pan out, or oh my gosh, now everything's wrong, like my whole project is wrong. I really learned from the professor that I work for that just you take a deep breath and you don't panic, and actually everything doesn't just fall apart because one thing went wrong. So
Yeah.
Definitely. Mine too, I mean, still a work in progress, honestly. And like rooted just in anxiety of like, am I good enough? Is what I'm doing like worthy enough? And I have like a very high expectation for myself, but it can like run me into the ground. So I've gotten a lot better at just doing something very well versus like doing something that is perfect.
one more challenge that I've not necessarily overcome, but it kind of going back to what you were saying, just the constant comparison to other people. It's really easy when you're in grad school to compare yourself to other students, other peers that you see in the field, or like on Twitter even, you know, and you're wondering, you know, am I doing as well as them? And it's just important to try to stay in your own lane, because everyone does grad school at their own pace.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's funny you said Twitter, because I see a lot of people on Twitter being like, just got another grant.
But it's the same like being inundated with all this good, and then you're like, okay, well this week none of my experiments worked, and that's just an important part of the process. And I think it's just easy to forget. But I guess that's like a social media conversation of just you're seeing the best snippets of someone.
Exactly.
It's also like, I think part of like the training, I like to think of it as like learning to celebrate others' victories and not let them like diminish your own.
It doesn't take away from you.
But
it's hard to remember that.
You have to practice it every time, because I don't think it's natural, especially for like people in grad school, because it's so competitive.
Agreed.
You're always trying to be the best. Like we're so conditioned that you need to be number one. And if you're not number one, then
you're last.
You're last. But that's not true. It's not true. There's room for everyone to be successful. And we want everyone to be successful, because that moves science forward.
Yeah, definitely. Tell us about a failure you've experienced in grad school and how you dealt with it. A lot of my experiments fail. And I think the best way I deal with it is like compartmentalizing. Like this part of my brain is going to think about grad school. And then when that's done or something doesn't work and I go home, I try to be like, I'm not going to think about that at all. Like this part of my brain is going to think about relaxing or my friends or having fun. So it's really like separating personal life versus lab life.
Very healthy.
Very healthy.
Boundaries, bitch!
Meanwhile, I'm like 11 p.m. Oh my god.
I'm still practicing. I'm still practicing.
How would you explain your thesis to a 5th grader?
That one! I did not want that
I am
one.
so bad at this.
Same, I did not want
just like go. But it's such a good skill, and I know people in grad school who are really incredible about like explaining it at like a basic level. And I think the undertone of this too is like, for me at least, a sense of imposter syndrome, where I'm always like, if I explain it too simply, someone's gonna be like, whoa, do you even know what you're doing?
Yeah.
But then if it's too specific, no one knows what you're talking about anymore.
Yeah.
But
See,
it's
that's
like
why I
such a
didn't
good
want
skill.
it.
Yeah.
It's a really good skill.
5th graders know what cells are. Right?
I had a terrible
I don't know if
science
I knew.
education.
Yeah,
so
I did too.
I did not know what a cell was.
Seriously.
We cannot get into the U.S.
Yeah.
public education system right now.
So it's too much.
What I always find hilarious is I dropped out of AP Bio because I thought it was going to be too much for me. Like I couldn't handle it, and now I'm getting a PhD. And so I'm like, oh. Okay, I think a good simile I like, so we said that we work on microvilli, which line your gut cells basically to allow you to absorb nutrients. But I always like to think about it as like a hairbrush, so all the bristles of the brush. And so my project focuses on like how those bristles are made.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Inside of you, there's a ton of different bacteria. And like most of the time people think of bacteria as they make you sick, but a lot of them also help you be really healthy. And so my research looks at how if you lose some of those members, and how that could be when you take antibiotics, how that affects the way you absorb fat, and how you potentially can gain more weight without some of those really good members of your gut.
That's good. I feel like kids really know what microbes are now too.
I know. Yeah. Your turn. It's hard to talk about metabolism. I'm like,
I know.
I don't body shame anymore.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. It's like sometimes when you eat too much sugar, it's bad, and then I'm like, I'm not gonna tell kids that.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
So.
And not on spooky Halloween.
No.
On
Halloween, like sometimes when you eat sugar.
My project is about how why you should never eat candy.
I know, like, no, I cannot. I'll think about it.
What is a piece of advice you would give someone thinking about grad school? I feel like as a background to this, I took 2 years off after undergrad before starting grad school. So this is totally colored by my own experiences and bias. But I think you really want to think about why you want to go to grad school. And if it's just because it's the next thing to do, I would really discourage it, because there's a lot of failure and a lot of challenge, and doing that just because it was the next thing to do, I think is really hard. And I think there needs to be more motivation and more of like a specific reason why you want to go. I've seen that sometimes where people just go to go. It's so hard and discouraging that you need that reason to like kind of cling to. It's really hard. Yeah.
I really like that answer.
Yeah.
And just know that it's going to be hard. I mean, unfortunately, there's no way around it.
As my parents say, it's like, no, not everyone gets their PhD.
Yeah. My parents say that too. Maybe it's a boomer thing.
I know, I think it might be.
Just keep going. Just keep going. Or sometimes I'm like, I decided to do this. On bad
No
days,
one
but-
forced you. Like,
Yeah.
you decide, you
Right.
put your name down.
But yeah, I think we all still like it, and we have bad days, but that's where it's really, I think we have a good support system.
Yeah.
So it's worth it.
Definitely. We're doing it.
Doing it.
One of us is almost
I'm just
Done.
Getting there. We'll see.
Hold on.
Let's not jinx it.
2 more years. 2 more years.
Yeah.
2 more years.
I want everyone to stay in lab with me.
With
until
you.
I
I'm like, that's yours.
Hey, what motivates you to go to lab every day?
Anxiety.
Existential dread. No.
Masochism. Several things.
I really think for me,
Sorry, I was thinking of like why I wake up. I'm like, why do I wake up?
It makes you wonder, like, rewind.
I know, it's like, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know, Bella?
I'm thinking. For me, I do feel like research, there's a sense of purpose there, and there is a sense of fulfillment I get from research. So even when it's really hard, it's just that underlying feeling of I found like what I'm meant to do in life. That sounds really cheesy.
No, that's like
But-
you're in the right field.
How do you unwind after a hard day in lab? I will say watch shows. And eat on my couch. That's it, really.
Before you go in, I feel like you like have a
Yeah.
routine that gets you in the right headspace.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
really good
definitely.
for morning time.
Yeah, I get to the lab around noon because just self-care. It's actually really good.
Yeah. And Catie runs a lot.
Yeah, it's just like you gotta find what's gonna like relieve the stress.
Yeah.
So I
You
definitely
need some outlet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love TV, so I watch a lot of TV.
Yeah. Like some dumb TV can really just
yeah.
clear your
Oh,
day.
hell yeah. Sit on the
man.
couch
Yeah.
just. When will you know you are a successful scientist? Immediately I was like, one, I think just when I defend, because I do have like this degree like saying you are.
Definitely.
You know, your lab kind of has like this overarching question, and then you're working on just like this little tiny speck of that question. So I think being able to like think big and delegate different questions within that that are like fruitful and can be like a decades of research worth of a question.
Yeah.
Ooh, Adri approved.
Good. I'm like, no, dragon. Wrong. Not right.
Not on my podcast.
Just edit out whatever I don't agree with.
What is a scientific topic you have learned about but will never fully understand?
So
Like there's too many things that like come to my mind where I'm like, oh my god, I should really like know that.
Yeah. Mine is DNA replication.
Also, I will say now I do know the difference. There was like the first year of grad school, I always had to take a second to remember the difference between transcription and translation. It was always I would say to myself, I am translating a code. I'm not transcribing the code.
Yeah,
You can do
for my
PhD too, listeners.
I'm in a lab where we do kind of a mix of immunology and microbiology, but my project is definitely more on kind of like a micro. And so immunology in so many ways, like I'll learn it and have great professors that teach me it, and then I'll step back and be like, wait, what? So like a germinal center reaction, it's just like I could learn that like 1,000 times and never be able to explain what it is. So I hope like none of them see this. Mass spec.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Like
Oh, I know.
anything or like physical chemistry.
Yep.
Oh.
Structure papers. Like when I look at a structure paper, I'm like, this is a very nice looking blob.
Yeah. Oh, they love the figures of the blobs. They're like, and look at all the blobs.
I also feel like for structure papers, I wish there was, but even a figure of like, hey, this took us 8 years to crystallize, you know, like, because then it's just like 3 photos of it from different orientations, and you're like, okay, here's it again, but rotated. But that's hard work.
Oh
That's really hard.
There's a reason none of us are structural biologists.
If you could study a science topic that is different than your thesis subject, what would it be?
But like, are we talking like geology or
I guess that's a science.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stop cutting that out. Geologist like, fuck you.
I think I would want to study some sort of either like host pathogen or like immunology, looking at B cells, T cells, how the cytoskeleton is involved in,
That's cool.
in those cells.
That's cool.
Yeah.
When you open your lab, I guess.
Yeah, that'll be. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. About 10 years from now.
I was gonna say, it would be cool in 10 years you watch this and you guys see what
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Oh, okay. I'd be a marine biologist.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, like at the bottom of the ocean and like
That
understand
would
like
be cool.
how those ecosystems are changing.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh, I
what
love
like new
that.
organisms are down there.
Yeah.
Scary.
I think I want to do like paleontology and like work in like a natural history museum.
That would be awesome.
Like a Lady Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I know he
That
did
would
study
Or
that.
Wonder
but
Woman.
That's the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hot and with superpowers.
Definitely.
Have you ever taken anything home from the lab? In COVID, I did take a bunch of ethanol home.
Yeah.
And gloves.
Me
home.
too.
And
gloves and
yeah.
ethanol.
And mask and
Bleach.
ethanol.
Yeah.
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 Kim wipes. Oh my god, Kim wipes are great.
Yeah. Kim wipes. I also
So
steal.
absorbent.
I don't steal. I take them permanently. That's it. But I take sometimes a few razor blades home because they're really easy for like cleaning counters and opening boxes. There they are.
Yeah.
So I just have like 2 or 3 always on the side.
They come in packs of like.
Yeah, no,
Giant.
I shouldn't be embarrassed about
Yeah.
that, but I take that from
I
them.
actually have taken a couple of mice home.
They're running across.
Like guys.
Guys. So many people have asked me that. They're like, do you ever take the mice home? Of
Guys.
course not!
Okay,
They're like,
fair.
what do you do with the mice? I'm like, they live in a little like area. Like, they're not mine.
It does drink.
Drink.
Yeah, easy.
What is something you do in lab that doesn't make sense but always makes a protocol work so you keep doing it? So in like a box of pipette tips you have like rows of 8 and I have to go up from the bottom to the top and then do like a snake pattern. So if someone pipettes from my box and they don't follow the same pattern, very frustrating.
Oh,
and I have to literally go through and like make it so it's in the right order so that I can sequentially follow it.
Yeah.
I did not know that about you.
No,
Me neither.
yeah, it's like a little OCD, but it
Roommates uncovered.
Yeah.
You know on Twitter, have you ever seen those tweets where it's like the tip box and then it's all these random ones taken and it's like, who's this demon devil?
Oh, that's
And
me.
That's
That's
me.
literally
Me too!
Yeah, just wherever.
Uh-huh.
that is horrifying.
How does your PI support you? I feel like this is a really good one.
This is a
I'm
good one.
very lucky to have a very supportive PI. He's always in our corner. He'll always like stand up and support us. He is considerate of our time. I think that's a really big thing. I think he's very cognizant of our time. Like for instance, if new people want to rotate in the lab, he's very cognizant of the new people who've just joined or what kind of things you have on your plate to know taking on a new person going to be a burden for you or is it going to be a reasonable thing to do. Like I was talking to him about feeling very overwhelmed and just kind of like I don't feel like I'm working like I used to work and things just aren't going well, and he was just very supportive, encouraging, just told me to keep going, wasn't harsh like, oh my god, you're not doing this,
Get back to it.
yeah.
Sorry, like here.
Sounds just like
Get back to it.
How do you think the academic environment could be improved?
This is a good one for you, I think.
Yeah.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Give me more money. pay grad students better. I think the currency of science is actually mostly grad students, and nothing would get done without us. So I think we should be paid way more.
There was a tweet where I guess there's a conspiracy theory that like institutions or the government is secretly paying grad students and postdocs like
a lot
end of the
money.
year huge benefits and bonuses, and they're like in
mine?
support of this conspiracy theory. They're like, because I don't understand why so many smart people are like choosing to make so little, and I never even like thought about that, and I read it and I was kind of like, oh
Yeah.
like, is this what people outside of science think? But
But then it's also like you go into like an industry or like even an academic position without a PhD, you do not make that much. Like you're really capped. Like at I would say like 80 would be the most, and then you get like maybe 30 years of experience for sure. But like coming right out of undergrad, I think I made like very similar to what I make now in PhD.
agreed.
So I think that really sucks too.
yeah, and at the end of the day, it is nice like we are being funded to learn. Like we are not going in debt for furthering our education, but
Yeah, I feel like making a comparison to debt in like relation to how much you make, what any you make will always look better.
Yeah.
Like of course I can have negative or positive. Positive looks better even if it's teeny positive.
sure.
That is true.
So I think we deserve more. Even if it's like, it's great we're not going into debt, but I'm sure some people still are because paying off cars, our healthcare isn't great. I'm sure there's still debt, it's just not school debt. I think we could get raises at least. Right now we have a master's level, if not more. So we should get paid a little more, like if you're a first year versus like a fourth year.
Oh, that's
Like we just have more output, so we should get more money.
Yeah.
I like that.
You can't ask anyone for a raise, it's like not a thing.
No one would ever be able to do it. The
No.
only way you get them is like through scholarships and
yeah.
things like that, which
Yeah.
I think is pretty like messed up, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, thanks, Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Well, I love you,
Please.
At least it's not Vanderbilt. It's like
It's anywhere. It's
program.
anywhere. Just waiting for a cease and desist.
Oh, interesting. What is the most inaccurate thing you have heard about a scientific topic? The craziest one I heard was my brother. He was doing this surf camp, but he ran into this like woman who was very anti-vax, and she said the reason she wasn't going to get the COVID vaccine was because the government had designed it so that it would alter your personality to make you think what the government wants you to think. She could use words like RNA and like, oh, it's in a lipid capsule and stuff. So she would like say words that made sense, but then big picture it was like, do you think if we figured out how to like mind control, we would really do it in like this way during this like pandemic?
Yeah.
Or, like 500,000 died. Sure. But
Yeah. Whatever.
But like, yeah. So that was the craziest thing I've heard.
I think a lot of us work with like a cell line. And I work with one that's from the colon. So my sister like cannot get it into her head that it's a colon, and so she calls like, "Oh, how are your butt cells doing?"
That's good too.
But it like can't. And then like during one of my rotations, she like knew I like was doing something with beetles, and then she also knew that I talked about something with like a UTI infection. So she was like, "I just don't understand how the beetles are getting the UTIs."
You're like different.
Oh, those are really great.
The beetles are getting UTIs. We can drink them like little cranberry juice.
Their little dish.
I feel like this is great for me. It's what's the worst thing you have ever smelled in the lab?
Because she's in a poop lab.
Like human poop does, like that's really bad. But the worst thing is this auger that when you autoclave it, it is like you open the autoclave door and the smell like comes. It is awful. Like I actually like I'm really sensitive to smell, so it was like take it. Like I like gagged. I was like, oh my god, and I like ran out of the room. I cannot. It was like it's like weirdly sour, but it is terrible. Like, and it like stinks up the entire floor. Yeah. So that is the worst.
And it's like a hot smell because it's like hot, steamy, whatever.
Oh god.
Is it bad? I'm curious though.
I had it in a bucket right now. I would smell.
The next time it's like there, I'll be like, okay,
Definitely
guys,
text us and
like
come
just
up.
text us.
Yeah, because
It's time.
it lingers, so you got like a good bit of time.
no.
Yeah, it's bad.
BME, beta mechanical.
Yeah,
That's
also like
that one.
fart. You always have to tell people when you're working with it because then they think you just farted and didn't say anything.
Really?
It really smells like
rotten
farts.
eggs. It smells
At
like
least I
sulfur.
always tell people, I'm like, I'm opening it. It's not me.
Yeah. It's happening, everybody!
It's not me.
Do you sit in the hood then?
No, we just
No.
Are we supposed to?
You sit in the hood.
I use it in the hood.
Oh,
That's really
Sometimes I
good.
do,
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
you're supposed to.
Okay.
One time I spilled Temid. You know that?
Yeah.
It's like used, yeah. And
Oh, okay.
it smells really bad and it's really toxic. And my PI was like, it's Temageddon.
Oh,
And
no.
then I had to go sit outside for like an hour. That's awesome.
She's like, this is funny, but it's also a problem.
Yeah. Also, you made a huge mess.
Oh, what's the most fun thing you've done during grad school?
You did a great job with these.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
these are really good.
Thanks.
Really, really good.
Asking smart people questions is my hobby.
So one of my good friends graduated from medical school. We went to France for a week, which was really lucky. I mean, we're really cool that we got to do that.
Has the pandemic changed how you view grad school? Yeah, I think before, like, my department would have like little happy hours and stuff, like, you know, once a month or something. And I think I took that for granted. Like, there's little special small things of like just talking to people. I'm like, I really want it.
That can
Like,
be
I'm longing
The
for it.
people, yeah.
Yeah, the interacting.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I didn't realize how important it was, but now I see.
I think the pandemic changed just me in that I just got really exhausted.
Yeah.
And I definitely am like coming back to a full swing, but I think for so long it was like everything was suppressed in a lot of ways. So I think coming out of that. What is the scariest / spookiest thing about grad school? Just being in lab really late at night by yourself, it's just spooky.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, all the lights are kind of turned off. Like after all the cleaning crew has come in and you're just kind of like alone in the dark hallways.
Yeah.
That always irks me a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So that to me is spooky.
That
That's
is terrifying.
yes.
You shine that and you don't see anything but hear rustling.
You're like,
yeah, that's
and it's pitch black.
That's scary.
Our lab is also by the morgue.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
Once in a while, you see them wheeling someone down.
No.
Yeah.
That is spooky as hell.
Because it was like they were coming into the elevator and I was walking down the hallway and I was like, ooh.
Oh, I
But
thought
kinda
you
was
were
like-
getting in the elevator. with
Oh
them.
no, that would be even worse. Yeah. What would you do? Like,
How do you do it?
that is.
What was one question you had before grad school that you have the answer to now? I like came into grad school thinking I wanted to work like with bacteria, with infectious disease. And they always are like, oh, don't like pick something too early. You might not know. And so I was always wondering if I'd end up liking something else or what I would end up liking. And I did end up liking what
Yeah.
That's good.
How would you explain your thesis to a non-scientist adult?
Oh, this is good. You got it.
This is
You
good.
do got this.
Yeah. Okay, so in your intestine and your kidney, on the surface of your cells, you have these protrusions that are kind of like little fingers that stick up from the surface of your cell. And these protrusions are actually the site of nutrient absorption, especially in your gut. This is how you absorb nutrients in your body. During disease states, like if you have an infection or if you have something like celiac or Crohn's disease, these protrusions, which are called microvilli, can become compromised and their structure becomes messed up essentially, and they don't work properly. And we're trying to figure out how they work in just the normal context, like how are these structures built. So my thesis is studying how do these protrusions actually grow from the cell surface, how are they formed, because if we can understand how they work in kind of a normal context, then we can understand what happens in a disease state.
That was
Yeah,
good.
that was very good.
Bravo, bravo. That was really good.
Comment down below if you understood that.
Yeah, if you didn't, don't tell me.
Yeah.
Dumb.
And you have to be 18
Lot off
or
now.
older.
Yeah, you must be an adult.
Adult.
Comment your age and then you understood. If you could do it all over again, would you choose to go to grad school again? No, I totally would. It's been painful, but I have never learned so much in this short amount of time my entire life.
That's
You just
inspiring.
learn
You're right.
so much. I could never learn this much anywhere else.
Nonstop. Ooh, what is your lab pet peeve?
Ooh, this is good.
Wow, this is coming off of a Monday. I feel like I was a little angsty today.
Should I leave the room?
It's like, Bella, fucking goddamn it.
complain to Bella. We complain to each other, which is nice, but it's also like, okay, I just need to say this and then I'll feel it.
Exactly.
Like not putting, like reordering a reagent.
Yeah, the classics.
Using a hood and not putting in like new tips. It's like little things. Oh, I know what Bella's is. It's not taking out the trash.
Oh my god, when people don't
room.
take out the trash in the TC room, I lose it. Because I'm always the last one in the TC room. I always do everything late. And everyone, it's just psychological. I get it. You just leave the room because you're not the last one. But then when I have to take it out every single time,
And you're always the last.
okay, you don't like the alarms or the beepers.
I don't like the beepers. Yeah, basically you have like a million timers always because it's science, but then you like leave a timer and leave and then it always goes off for 60 full seconds. So if I'm like sitting at my bench and trying to like focus or write something and then all you hear is like beep, 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 and then you know like 20 seconds goes by and you're like whatever, but then it's just beep, 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 and then I'm kind of like, is that someone's timer? Is that someone's timer? Like, I freaking do it all the time.
Everyone's, okay,
it just
all
happens.
Of these things that we're saying, we're all guilty of ourselves.
100%.
I actually am not. I only use my Apple Watch.
You're only perfect.
Dang,
It's completely silent.
Perfect, yeah.
I am not gonna. Do you guys think I'm perfect? Comment down below. Okay. Immediate.
How has your mental health been in grad school?
Wow.
Just like so
good.
Yeah, I feel like we're lucky. The four of us were very open about our mental health, so there's been like a lot of support here. But I'll say my mental health was a lot worse in undergrad, and I struggled a lot with anxiety. Saw a therapist, got on some medication. So by the time I came to grad school, I luckily had a lot of like tools in my toolkit to kind of deal with my mental health, and I think I had a better grasp on like when I was being overly anxious or when I was developing really unhealthy obsessive thinking, because I think grad school, pushes you, and so any time that we do have the propensity to have these mental health issues, it's gonna come out in grad school, and I think sometimes it's surprising, but I think for me, I'd had like the worst in undergrad, so I had a better idea of what to expect. You're also working really hard, so you get pretty tired and run down, and so your mood is affected, and so I think like for me, like exercising, having good friends, those are all ways that I stay mentally healthy, because I just think like as grad students you're gonna get hit with like your triggers, and so it's not really like if you're gonna have a mental health issue, it's like when and what's it gonna look like, and everyone including Vanderbilt is becoming more aware of what that looks like. So there are a lot of resources that we can take advantage of, and I think we all talk about it pretty openly, and that helps. So definitely
I think Vanderbilt has been pretty supportive for the most part, at least from other institutions I know too, which is good.
Yeah, they have free counseling and medication consults and things like that. So
Yeah. That was a good answer.
Yeah, really good answer.
Everyone's like talking about it.
it got solemn. Oh, what is the best thing about grad school?
It's Katie.
It's Katie. It's Katie. Up
Beautiful, beautiful Katie. The sexual tension between me and Katie. Will we or won't we?
I will tell.
Check back in 10 years for the reunion. Spooky episode.
Okay, the best thing about grad school, I think it can be a double-edged sword, but I think the fact that you can make your own schedule is, for me, the best thing about grad school, because you don't have the pressure to work, exactly 9 to 5, although you end up working longer than that usually, and you might have to go in on the weekends, and it's kind of this idea of, never being off, but at the same time, I am like flexible about when I want to take vacations. At least in my lab, we don't have a set rule, just as long as you get your work done. I don't have to worry about, okay, I took exactly 14 days off this year. Which is something I really appreciate. I have a boss, but at the same time, I'm kind of my own boss.
That's actually something I thought I would hate in grad school, but I love it.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time, what would you tell yourself before beginning grad school? Well, I liked Katie's, I guess, analogy or whatever you call it, of like having tools in your toolkit, like for your mental health, to like be ready for challenge. Like have like a game plan for when things go wrong. Like don't wait until your mental health is really bad to start thinking about ways to handle it. Like go in knowing what to do when things go bad. I think I would tell myself that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
If you could be anything for Halloween, no matter the cost, what would you
Oh my god.
be? Ooh, this is a really good one.
No matter the cost.
I think because of the costing, my mind immediately went to like, how would I only wear diamonds? So
Yes.
then I was thinking of like the bodysuit of Britney Spears, I think in the Toxic Music video. You know, that like all white and like sparkle one?
Yeah.
Like how sick would it be to do like full Avatar? Like
Yes.
true like
Yes.
body paint and like
Ooh,
fake
yeah.
adjustment
Yes.
stuff. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
And I love the movie Avatar.
That would
I think
be-
I would do
That's a
that.
good one.
Yeah.
Like Avatar, the blue people.
Yeah.
Okay. There's Avatar, the airbender.
Oh yeah, not Airbender, not Airbender.
The blue girl from X-Men.
Oh yeah, that's
If you
Ooh,
could do
that would be
like
good, too.
full makeup like that.
Yeah.
And you know how she's completely naked besides it?
Yeah.
Like if you could do that,
Yeah.
that'd be really
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of like, oh, should I get a morph suit for Halloween?
Maybe I can do that.
Just like spray paint it. That's
would
just
be
like me in
cool.
like a blue suit.
That'd be fun. Or viewers, if you would like to fund
Yes.
our
I'll put your
all
Venmo,
expenses
her
paid for
Venmo
Halloween.
right here.
Like, ooh, maybe I'll be Marie Antoinette. Just like, ooh, it's so
Yes.
big and like, or
Yeah.
like,
Like
some,
a corset, like
yeah,
a real
like
like.
a real nice one.
And the dress from Midsummer.
Oh my
That flower dress.
god.
Okay, I choose that one.
The crowns and everything.
Yes, that'd be so cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
I wanted to be like someone from like Monsters Inc. Like I've always wanted to be Mike Wazowski, but like really do it and just
right
like
way.
be a green ball with like little arms.
Yes.
How does your family describe your research? So butt cells.
But no.
I think mine, because like gut bacteria is so like hot right now, they're really easily able to be like, oh, she's like looking at that. And my project is specifically looking at childhood obesity and the gut microbiota. So those are words I feel like a lot of people can understand. But they'll ask questions, which is really nice.
That is
But they're both scientists too, so I feel
Yeah,
like it's kind of cheating.
I think I get called like rat bus driver.
Oh, because you're wheeling your mice around.
Like taking them on some field
Yeah.
What you want to do after your PhD? Want to go the traditional route and become a professor and run my own lab one day? You know, there's a lot of careers that one could do. Keep that out there. But no, I really love the mentoring aspect of the PhD and watching students grow and develop as scientists, and I want to do that for other students one day. So
What is the best quality a mentor can have? I would say truly, truly listening. Truly listen. Don't talk. Listen.
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 Part of your life are you most proud of?
Like my banging body.
Banging body, my hot brains. I think I'm just in a really good place right now in terms of picking who I am. But I think that's taken a while, and just being confident in like the things I want out of life and like qualities in other people in my life that I want. Last year was really tough with the pandemic and for personal reasons, and now like I bought this house, which is like a big thing, and I feel very like independent and good on my 2 feet, which
Yeah.
feels really good.
confirm,
That's
Jill
definitely
is
it.
kicking it.
Yeah, she's a bad bitch.
It's the banging body.
Banging body. I don't know what she was talking about. I didn't hear any of that.
I got a drink.
I got a drink.
Oh, yeah, two drinks. Yeah,
I guess drink twice.
Yeah, that seems fair.
How many ghosts are in your lab?
Oh my god.
I'd say hundreds. But one of the equipment we have is from a woman's lab who passed away.
Oh.
So it could
I didn't
be
know that.
haunted. Yeah.
I like
100.
felt their presence.
It stopped working the other day, the thing that we have. So then I was like,
Cursed.
have you guys seen Ghosts at Vanderbilt?
No. Is
Nothing spooky.
there a ghost that roams?
Yeah.
It's a hospital, you know? I don't know.
That's true.
Actually, we should look into that. For
We
real.
should.
I'm sure there's some like creepy stories.
I bet. It's such an old school too.
I know.
And it's a hospital.
Honestly, thank God I haven't because I really can get paranoid about those
Yeah.
things. So.
And we're there at night all day.
Yeah. Oh, I was dating in grad school. Like so good.
So good.
Just like, it's just
Really better.
Yeah.
Would recommend to anyone.
Nothing better. Okay, I guess for context, like our program is like 70-80% female. Identify straight, so that is just like for a little bit of context. Man, I think there's like two parts of this question, right? Like one I'm sure is just like time, or like is there time to invest in dating? I would say absolutely.
We are in Nashville too.
right.
That's what I was gonna say. I
think
feel
it's
like in general
Nashville.
it's Nashville.
Unless like being in grad school more.
Exactly. And I think ultimately like the point of dating is you're just trying to find someone that you actually have a connection with, and so much of that is chance. Like dating and it's fun, but it's not like, you know, you've met that person. So then it's easy to be like dating is tougher. But I think there's
Yeah.
definitely time to do it.
I mean, it is hard also because you're in this Vandy bubble. You know, most of our friends are in grad school, which I mean, I love that, but you know, you do get kind of insulated, and it can be hard to branch out and meet other people. So you really have to put in the effort to do that if that's something that you want to do.
Yeah. I'm sure some people
Yeah.
meet up
You
people at
can.
their jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
But like grad school, it's like mostly women and your lab's kind of small. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And then
different.
with the pandemic, because then you're not meeting people from like other grad programs, which I think would be like a nice way
Yeah.
to meet people. But
Do you believe in ghosts?
Ooh.
I don't. Yeah, for context, I hate anything scary, so this could be like my brain's way of being like,
Just shutting it
no,
down.
this doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen one, and I'm very much like, you gotta prove it to me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happens next, but I've never seen a ghost.
Until tonight.
Do you guys
should I
believe
bring
in
them
ghosts?
up?
I don't think so.
Realistically, no. I tell myself I do because I like the spooky element.
Right.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah.
more fun to believe in ghosts, but realistically,
Yeah,
I don't.
But yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense really.
No, it doesn't.
I thought it would.
But you never know.
You never know.
Still love spooky time.
Yeah.
Is Vanderbilt haunted? Haunted with the ghosts of thesis past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I don't particularly think so, but I mean, like I said, we do work above the morgue, so you never know.
You never know.
Ooh, why do you want a PhD? Yeah, realistically, I think when I was looking into grad programs, every job that I wanted to have required a PhD, or it would just get you to like that next level in a career in science. I remember one time my boss referred to me as like a kid in a candy shop in a lab where I just get really excited.
Yeah.
It's like very fun. You get to
Yeah,
ask whatever
awesome.
you want.
What is the worst thing about grad?
I know.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so this is very much like, for me, it's probably maybe not the worst, but the hardest thing about grad school is that, like Jill, like I'm really curious and I love what I do, but it's really hard for me to understand what's like a good balance. And so I think like I'm way more likely to feel like these periods of burnout because I like push too hard. And I think when you're in grad school, productivity is kind of like our metric of success. So then it's like this cycle for me of being like, oh my gosh, you've got so much done, and then I'm proud, but then I push. So I think for me, it's really hard to kind of know what's a good amount of time to work and what are good experiments like to plan and when should I hold back. And I think that can be really tiring.
I always laugh at the balance thing though, because everyone says it.
I know.
But it's
I
like,
know, but how do you do it?
I think there's like no such
There's no such thing.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think people are better at it than others.
same.
But
I usually go fully with lab and I don't do anything else, or fully friends and traveling and just
yeah.
not do anything else.
Yeah.
It's like always one of
It's
the
always
other.
an
Yeah.
ebb and flow. I
Uh-huh.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But never perfectly like both.
Exactly. Yeah.
All over the place.
Maybe that's what balance is.
I know. I was
Oh,
like,
I guess
maybe
it
it's
is all
balance.
together then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That was just
It's all
drinking.
my drink
Yeah.
one.
Drinking. I'm just
I'm just drinking. Yeah, there's 3 drinks left, so everyone.
Okay, everyone
Perfect.
just drink. Cheers!
Cheers!
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween! All right. Any last words for the viewers today?
Spooky.
Spooky!
I know. Tell us if Vanderbilt's haunted
Yeah, tell us if
story.
Vanderbilt is actually
Yeah.
haunted.
I want to
'cause-
know.
Yeah.
That will be my clickbait title, probably.
Is
Vanderbilt's
Vanderbilt
haunted?
That's a good one. I would watch that.
I would watch that. And then you see that we have no idea. And it's not. All right. Well, thank you for watching. Happy Halloween. I'm going to put everyone's Instagrams right here. So go follow them, engage with them, ask them questions, get to know them. And don't forget to subscribe and like and comment and all of the things. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Woo.
Goodbye.